So yes, definitely when it comes to IoT attacks, there are some very good resources out there like OWASP, or you have the attack matrix from Vitre. These are great, and we actually use them, but they don't really help you define your security target, and they are pretty light in terms of hardware attacks. So this is why we have decided to group all these attacks into 5 classes to really fill those gaps. And you'll see that our attack classes go from the attacks that you should definitely prevent to more complex attacks that you will want to address, especially if you have sensitive applications. So first class of attack are the remote attacks. This is where the attacker sits somewhere on the internet and has the potential to breach into your devices, maybe a part of them or maybe even all of them if they manage to reach your cloud services. This is definitely your worst nightmare, especially if you are operating an IoT network. Then you have the network attacks. Those are linked to the media and to the protocols that you are using to communicate with your devices. It can be wired, but nowadays most of the time it's wireless. So these are technologies such as cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and these essentially allow for what I call proximity attacks, which means it's not fully remote from anywhere in the world, but it could be carried out by somebody who would be parked in front of your house, for example. Then we have the local attacks. Those are the attacks where the attacker has physical access to the device, which is typically the case if you have consumer devices that anybody can purchase. Those attacks are basically low-cost attacks that require very limited equipment. For example, that's going to be reading the memory of your device. It can be scanning your interfaces and try and find vulnerabilities there. These attacks are often overlooked because manufacturers or people who have devices in the field might have millions of them. And one device hacked, no big deal, right? But actually, it's very risky to think that way because attacking one device can give you credentials to connect to the cloud so that you can mount further attacks that would be authenticated attacks directly on the cloud and potentially give the attacker access to all your devices. So this is a very, very important class of attacks. Same goes for the number 4 elementary hardware attacks. So these also assume that the attacker can have access to your device physically, but they require a bit more skills because they will be about attacking your hardware. And typical attacks in this category are voltage glitches, for example, or simple power side channel analysis. So the attackers are, I would say, mildly skilled. They have some equipment worth probably a few hundred dollars, and that will allow them potentially to break the security of your secure boot or your encrypted memory. So this is this gives the same result as the local attacks in a way, but more advanced for I would say mildly secured IoT devices. And finally, we have the advanced hardware attacks. So these will really require a lot of skills to operate. They will require a lot of equipment, but they can extract even the most complex information from even security chips. So think SIM cards, banking cards, think trusted execution environment. So these can be really bad, especially if you have secret information in your devices, where if that information leaks, all your devices could be compromised. So again, it really depends on the cases, but these shouldn't be overlooked either.